The Application Lifecycle Risk Management Podcast, Episode 21. What's in my blogging toolbox? So as I thought this week about what I might write, I decided to review the various tools that I use to get stuff done. I started out this post with the stuff I use to create blog articles every week, and as it turns out, that ended up being a post's worth of content right there. So maybe next week we'll pick up this idea and look at some of the other set of tools I use. I write the main article using Windows Live Writer. Yeah, I know. It's a relatively old tool, but it still gets the job done, and it's still the only tool that lets me write offline in a WYSIWYG mode. There have been a few times when I've written the article on my iPad first, but that's only because I haven't been able to use my desktop. For that, I use BlogPad Pro. It gets the job done, but it's not as good as LiveWriter. To create the word cloud, I use Wordle. And the site's hosted on Bluehost using a WordPress blog engine. Audio. Once I've created the blog post, I record the audio. For this, I use a Rode Procaster Broadcast Dynamic Vocal Microphone. This is the XLR model. I purchased an XLR to USB preamp to plug it into my computer. I could have purchased a Rode Podcaster USB dynamic microphone, noticed Podcaster, not Procaster, and saved some money, but my setup allows me to use the XLR adapter to plug other things into my computer, like my guitar or a soundboard, while also allowing me to use the Procaster with my iPhone and iPad using an XLR to iPhone adapter. I use iTalk when I need to record stuff on my iPhone. You might want to consider getting the shock mount and the boom arm for the microphone, or just get everything as a complete package for a bit less. To actually record the audio, I use Audacity. Now, Audacity is a pretty popular open source sound editor and recorder, which I think does a pretty good job of cleaning up the sound without spending a whole lot of time. Here are the steps I use to clean up the sound. When I start recording, I wait for at least 10 seconds prior to saying anything. When I finished recording, I select that 10 seconds, and then from the menu I select Effects, Noise Removal, and then click the Get Noise Profile button. Once that's completed, I select the whole track and select Effects, Noise Removal, and then click the OK button using the defaults that are set. Next, I select Effects Equalization, and then I enhance everything above the 5K range by 12 dB. This improves my diction and I hope makes me easier to understand. Finally, I select Effects Compressor, and I use the defaults to normalize the volume for the whole track. Once the recording's cleaned up, I import the intro and the outro music and move the tracks around horizontally so they overlap the main recording. The final step is to record the title of the show. I use the same noise profile from the original recording, but otherwise clean up the title audio in the same way I cleaned up the main audio. And then I export as MP3 and upload to my server using the Upload Media feature of WordPress. I created the intro and the outro music using Jammer Pro. I got this software a long time ago for another purpose, but it's been nice to have something that produces unique tunes that I don't have to worry about copyright issues with. Finally, for the video, I use Camtasia. I've been using this tool so long that I've forgotten when I first started to use it. I'm using version 6, and I've not had any good reason to update. For the PowerPoint components of the video I produce, I use Microsoft PowerPoint 2013. I tweaked the settings for creating the video for YouTube a very long time ago, and I haven't had any reason to change them. Here's what they are. I create an MOV to upload. I set the frame rate to 15 frames per second with a keyframe every 24 frames. My compression is set to high using H.264. The audio settings for the MOV are set to 44 kHz, 16 bits. So how long does it take to produce all this content? To write the article, to retort it, to edit the recording, create the video, and upload everything where you can get it? Generally takes me 2 or 3 hours. This is why you only see something once a week. For the links For the links to items mentioned in this podcast, make sure you check out my blog at blog.dmbcllc.com. A link to this article is in the show description.